Hey, this is Zachary Cramey. I'm the Assistant Director of Player Personnel at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Today I'm just going to talk to you about my actual internship, kind of wrapping up everything that I've done, just kind of giving an overview of everything that I did, what I enjoyed, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, what I started out doing as soon as I got here, um, back in early May, was bringing all the guys from Georgia Southern that I liked, and making sure that they were in our database, and making sure we were getting an eval on them, and just making sure that I learned everything, how they were doing things, and realizing what things I could possibly change and stuff like that. Those were the two biggest things I did as soon as I got here. Um, and the hardest part was really just learning how they do their evaluations, how they go about just their entire process of that, because it was completely different from where I had been before. Um, so that was one of the toughest parts about making the switch is coming into a whole new environment, and learning everything that they do. Um, some more things that I did throughout my course of this internship was started out giving tours. Started out giving campus tours within a week of being here. It was kind of a struggle because I didn't know much about campus, so I was just kind of having to learn as I went. Not really making up stuff per se, but just based off of what I've heard, I had to start doing a lot of research on the school, and stuff like that to better recruit these players up here on these tours, and give them an idea of what Chattanooga is really about. Another thing that I did was I helped run camps. I helped run 4 or 5 prospect camps and a 7-on-7 tournament. This was a fun experience for me because I had never been through this process before. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't know as a prospect, or just somebody on the outside. It takes a lot of manpower, a lot of time, and effort to thoroughly plan these camps. And they may only last 3 hours, but it takes hours and hours and days of preparation to set these things up. Another thing I did was, of course, evaluating players. Went through, I'm going through 2,000 players right now just on the offense to make sure we get a true evaluation on these guys, and make sure we're not missing anybody. That's one of the biggest things. There's so many players, and so much talent that it's hard to go through at once, but sometimes you just got to grind through it, and and get through them all, because you don't want to miss anybody. You don't want to miss that hidden gem that maybe only you know about. And you want to make sure you get a good evaluation on them, and start putting them through the process of getting recruited, and hopefully getting them on campus if you like them well enough. Um, some more things that I did was I was in charge of recruiting graphics. I made a schedule about when and how things were to be put out on social media. So all the recruiting graphics that were sent to players, that were personalized, they came through me. I was working very closely with our graphic designer, and kind of helping him with ideas, and saying, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need it by, and really just kind of coordinating that whole effort of how many do we want per week, how many do we want per month, how many per player, just things like that. That was a kind of a unique thing that I got to do. There's not too many people that can jump right in and just start coordinating that kind of thing, and because it takes a lot of organization, a lot of coordination between you and the whole staff, and really the graphic designers. There's a lot of graphics they have to put out, a lot of stuff that we want to make happen. Because not only do they have recruiting graphics, but they have holidays, they have team graphics, they have our current player graphics, stuff like that. And so we're really coordinating. Hey, we need this by when, and making sure everybody's on the same page was a key part of what I've been doing this internship, because it's one of the biggest parts of recruiting. Um, if that part of your organization doesn't succeed, you're not going to be in it too long. Especially with today's world of social media, and just the whole graphics game in general. If your department of that isn't very good, isn't very organized, you're not going to succeed. And to say that I've kind of headed that up, and helped grow it in such a short period, I'm really proud of myself for that. And it's a really unique opportunity that I've had here. I've also had to deal a lot with scheduling, recruiting. So we've worked with our assistants getting high school schedules to make sure during the season we can know when we can go live eval some of these guys that are really high on our board. And also just keeping our database up to date with offers. Every day new kids are getting offers, new kids are getting added to the system, making sure we have their offers, guys are committing, guys are decommitting. So we really have to stay on top of things. So coordinating that as well, making sure we're up to date on everything with a limited number of people on our staff as it is. It's been hard to kind of coordinate that with thousands of kids needing their offers updated. Just it's tough to organize, but it's something that needs to be done. Something that's vital to your recruiting. You need to know, hey, he just picked up an offer for somebody within our conference, and we haven't offered him yet. Should we take another look at him? Should we offer him something like that? Or if he's committed to a Power 5 school, and we're FCS, maybe it's time to take him off our board and move on to something else. A couple other things was I started working on evaluating transcripts. So just making sure guys that we are recruiting are actually eligible, that we're not wasting our time on a kid that has a 1.2 GPA and a 15 ACT, something like that. We need to evaluate guys that can actually come into school and be eligible right away, and wasting our time on these guys that don't take academics seriously. It's not going to help our team in the long run. Because it kind of shows what kind of a player they are. They don't want to put the work in the classroom, so are they really going to put the work in on the field? It doesn't matter how good of a player you are. If you can't pass your classes, you're not going to be able to play football, especially at the college level when you're a student athlete and the student comes first. So, being in charge of those academics and just making sure who's eligible and who's not has been a very interesting role that I've had to go through this summer. Wasn't expecting that part at all, to be honest. I had never done academics before, so really learning that, I think, is really going to help me in the future. Now I can go through and say, hey, I know how to do this now. Let's set this up how we need to get more people on it to where we can decide who's recruitable and who's not. But yeah, so just mainly evaling guys. It was a lot of fun. That was probably my favorite aspect of the whole internship so far. It's just learning from my boss, who's an NFL scout for 8 years. He has such a wonderful insight on what he's looking for in players, looking for just in general. Just being able to pick his brain and say, hey, you see this, like what are you looking for? During camps, we put them through drills, and it's fun to just go beside them and say, hey, okay, in this drill, what exactly are you looking for? What do they need to be doing better? What can, just what makes them a good player in this drill? And just watching their film saying, hey, like you see this, can you show me how you saw this, or why is this important for him? That's really been the funnest aspect of my job. It's really been a fun job so far, and one I look forward to continuing in the future. Yes, I do want to continue working in recruiting and player personnel. That's a big goal of mine, is to be a director of player personnel or director of recruiting for, a big time Division I football team. So just having all this experience, gaining all this knowledge from everybody, and really just taking it in steps. I was thrown into a lot of things, but it only makes you stronger. And it made me wiser. It made me realize what I was capable of and what I was not capable of. And it's just been a fun experience. Glad I picked UT Chattanooga. Wouldn't want to do it any other place. So it's been a great experience. I loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.